Hey man, so this is our wrap up for our week 1 off-grid mini challenge outdoor cooking. If you're watching this one, you already know all the details. Just a real quick recap though. For a whole week we cooked all our food outside without the stove, without the microwave, without the toaster. No electricity. We used no electricity. We used a couple of different methods. We tried a rocket stove. We tried a modified three stone fire. We used a griddle. We didn't get any footage of her cooking on the griddle, but she cooked pancakes on the griddle. What else we did? We did the Dutch oven on the tripod. And did we do the Dutch oven on the ground?
No.
We didn't get to do the Dutch oven on the ground. Mariah did all the work for the most part. I'm going to let her talk a lot, and I might throw in a few things I picked up on here and there. But what did you think?
Okay, so I probably didn't wake up early enough in the morning.
What time did you get? I have to be at work at 6 in the morning, so.
So I got up and got out here to start the rocket stove for your eggs and for my tea, probably about 10 or 20 minutes before we normally would get up. And I had trouble getting it going. I really didn't like the rocket stove. It was hard to start fires in such little quarters for me, and for some reason they just wouldn't start very well, and when they finally did, it was really hot, and it was just hard for me to maintain the fire and in a constant temperature, and that was a little frustrating as far as breakfasts were concerned. And then the tea tasted like smoke, which wasn't great.
Yeah, everything tastes like smoke. You gotta get used to that. The only place where it was really bothersome was in, well, I shouldn't say the only place it was really bothersome.
Did you notice it in the sweet tea?
I never noticed it in the tea, so it wasn't bothersome to me. It did change the taste of the eggs. I guess, I don't know if I'd never had eggs over fire before. I'm not sure why it was noticeable, but I did notice
the ash flying around and stuff.
Yeah.
So then, so that was morning time, and the downside was that, you know, sometimes I just couldn't get it going very well or quick enough. But the upside was that while I was waiting for it to start, I was out here at the just right at dawn, and it was very pleasant to be outside. Normally when I would just be in front of the computer screen or whatever, I was sitting out here watching morning come, and it was very, very, very nice. Something you wouldn't normally experience if you're just cooking regular inside. So, and then lunches, we didn't do really anything for lunch. There was one lunch where I did have I guess it was the 3-stone oven or fire for some bratwurst one day for his lunch. That was actually one of the other frustrating times for me, because I was busy that morning, and then I was coming back. That was Friday when I went to the farmer's market, and I was coming back, and I was thinking, I just want to microwave those bratwursts. He'll never know. And but I didn't. I put it on the little stove, and it was fine. But for that split second, I was thinking, why are we doing this? I just want to cheat this one time. But and then suppers were, I tried to do a variety of things. I really wanted to do beans, because I knew beans in an SHTF situation, we're going to be eating a lot of beans, so I wanted to see if I could cook beans, and I did that on the 3-stone, and they came out surprisingly well, and
excellent.
they cooked pretty quickly. I don't know if they cooked faster than on the stovetop, but they just were done in surprising time. Maybe I just wasn't tracking the time as well, but anyways, so that was good. The Dutch oven on the tripod for the same meal was not good. I definitely need some more practice with that, because it burned the bottom of the bread completely. So
I don't think we ate the bread.
No, we didn't eat the bread. Well, at the top.
Oh.
I had a couple of bites at the top, but anyways, that was one of the other things about cooking with cast iron is it takes a little bit more care and time, and it's messier and dirtier, and just takes more time. All around. What else?
There was the griddle with the pancakes impressed the heck out of me. I mean it impressed me that you cooked pancakes on it. Now I didn't get to eat any of them because I had to.
So for yesterday morning, well, I usually do pancakes for Sunday morning, and all I did was move one of the concrete blocks from my freestone and add a little bit more area to the fire, and then we cooked some turkey bacon over it at first, and then I threw some pancakes on the griddle. It's not actually cast iron griddle, but I think it did okay. I think it's aluminum, but it was great. It worked out really well, and that was probably my favorite meal, my favorite time. I just really enjoyed being out there.
I'm sure someone just gasped and choked on their water. We're going to get a comment about not cooking on aluminum.
Aluminum, yeah.
But we're looking for a cast iron one. I don't know. The aluminum one does well. No one's gotten Alzheimer's yet, except me. What else? The rocket stove. We learned some things about the rocket stove. It is not for cooking for a large family. And the concrete block, I'll just go and throw the concrete block out. A lot of you guys have commented about the concrete blocks, how they're not maybe safe. If they're wet and you heat them up too fast or too high, they can explode, I've been told. A long-time viewer, Ogre Dad, has had concrete blocks explode on him before. And they certainly cracked. I'm going to see if I can show this. Well, pan down onto the stove, baby. We had to raise up a little bit because there was too much heat, so Mariah made a higher burner. But you can see here, our blocks were cracking, and these are big, heavy, old block. So this is not a long-term solution. It's not even really a solution. This is like an emergency. I have to boil water stove. Really good for what it's meant for. We were just working it too hard. It's not for what we were trying to do with it. A better design, maybe brick, some kind of metal, a little bigger. I like the concept, but the concrete blocks are not for what we were doing for them. The other thing is that we didn't burn as much wood as you would expect, but I was cutting wood every night. Now, I wasn't set up for this beforehand with the wood, so I mean, if I was doing this continually, I would do big batches of firewood all at once. But yeah, there was a fair amount of wood that got burned. I shouldn't say a fair amount. There was more wood than you. I'm not sure how to quantify it, but we used a significant amount of wood, and it added a significant amount of time and work, to prepare that wood. None of this stuff is. I'll tell you this: it's not more efficient than cooking on the grid. You can't be more efficient or cheaper than the grid. If you're looking to do this to save money, you're wasting your time because you will not save money. But there was the wood, the cinder block. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And I probably would never have cleaned up that Dutch oven if we hadn't have made that challenge or the other cast iron pots I had. One other thing to go along with the danger of the concrete block was somebody else left a comment about how more women died back in the old days from fire-related deaths than childbirth. So that was kind of in my head a little bit, and thinking about, it is a little bit more dangerous. You've got this open fire, you've got these kids running around.
Yeah.
It adds a little bit more of a dangerous element to it. So that was something to think about.
Yeah. You always worry about something tipping over and boiling beans falling on a kid or something. Another reason why the cinder blocks aren't the way to go. Interesting experiment, good skill, neat thing. It's not for long-term cooking.
And the rain.
Oh, and rain. We got very, very lucky this whole week. We didn't get any rain. It started drizzling for like a second when we were actually shooting a video, and it stopped by the time we'd shot the video. So we never got rain, but obviously if you were going to do this full time, you got to have an outdoor kitchen. That's one of my big takeaways from here. We need an outdoor kitchen. That's going to move way up the list, probably right after the root cellar. So it's still 10 to 15 years away, but definitely on the list.
Yeah, we just weren't set up for it. There was a lot of running back and forth to grab something that I had forgotten, or going back for a spatula, going back for a pot holder, and so it was just not prepared.
It seemed like to me, I mean, it was, frequently, she'll be cooking and doing other stuff, multitasking, and in this, it seemed like you had to be out here cooking. There was no...
Yeah, especially with the 3-stone, you have to, and the rocket stove, you have to be feeding the fire pretty consistently because it's just a small fire.
So there you go. This was a resounding success as far as an experiment goes. We actually learned things and figured out steps we need to take in our journey. Sounds so stupid, but in our whatever towards being off grid.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. We had some technical difficulties there. We're gonna wrap this up real quick. We didn't realize how long it was going. It was a really interesting topic or discussion for us. But this was a really useful experiment. I would encourage anyone to do this, even if you're not interested in going off grid. It's just kind of fun to kind of see how people used to live and compare it to how we do now. And see how difficult it was, how much more difficult it was, and how doable it was. It was more difficult and complicated, but very doable. So there you go. That's my 2 cents. You want to add anything on the way out?
Can't think of anything.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.